In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly
and Andrew Fiore.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and on. Bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Well, hello, Defenders, and welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast and mine. It's Defend Your Movie. I am one of your co-hosts. My name is Andrew Fiore, along with my other co-host, the well-coiffed, the hirsute, the newly t-shirted Mr. Sean Donnelly.
Yes. Hello there, everybody. Hello, Defenders. Thank you for checking in with us and listening to another episode of Defend Your Movie. I'm so glad to be here. We have such a great episode planned. I'm actually...
Big episode.
I gotta be honest. I think the ones that we're like, I'm emotionally involved with and that you are and that we really get into it are the ones that are the best. And I'm like a racehorse waiting to get out of the gate. Like on this one, as far as the opening thing that we're talking about and the meat and potatoes part of the podcast. And yes, I'm newly t-shirted, like Andy said, because I came to meet him where we're recording, and I sweat so much that our friend gave me a t-shirt to wear.
I thought you got caught in the rain.
Oh, that was sweat. Oh, no, that wasn't the rain. It didn't rain until I got in here.
I didn't know it was perspiration.
Oh, no. Literally, it was like down on my belly button and sweat. It was like, you know what it is? I sweat like somebody who works out. If you look at my sweat amount, you'd be like, wow, this guy's really trying. It's like, no, you're just trying to catch a bus. That's it. So anyway, let's welcome our guest for the day, Andy.
Our guest, very funny comedian. You might have seen him on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Please give it up for the very funny Stephen Rogers.
Hey, everybody. Thank you. I am also a racehorse on this one. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me.
For the main part of the podcast. Why we invited you in.
Can't wait.
Okay, perfect.
Before we get into it, real quick,
we get to that,
thank you, everybody. We did last 2 weeks, Stephen. We celebrated 20 years later, the year 1999 in cinema. You might have been 7 years old at the time. I have no idea how.
Actually, let's really do it. How old were you?
I was born in 92. So
yeah.
You just took a random stab in the dark.
You did great. You killed it.
So that was a big year for movies. A lot of great movies that happened to be made that year.
What did you have?
Well, there you have your American Beauty, Magnolia, Galaxy
Matrix.
Quest.
A
lot of
Galaxy Quest was a big one for
almost
me.
Too many to name off the top of my head. I know there's an embarrassment of riches for the year 99. But thanks to everybody. You guys seem to love it, and I love when we go off the defend this versus defend that grid.
Oh, so do I. Yeah.
And you guys were a lot of Twitter support, and you guys had some awesome opinions. So thank you guys for that. It's cool that when you guys love something that we love to do, it makes it even more worth it. So we are going to get back into the swing of things this week. We got a big matchup. One we've been talking about for years.
Absolutely. And also, but we have something to talk about. We both did our homework for the podcast.
We both did our homework, but maybe even before that, we now have a release date for The Irishman. Which, like three of my favorite things today we're talking about.
Yes, you're right. It's a big day in movies.
The trailer was released today.
What do you think of the trailer?
Loved it.
You love the trailer?
Yeah, it's like classic Scorsese almost immediately.
Everything about this movie is quality. Did you watch the Irishman trailer?
I haven't seen it.
Everything's quality. Everything, the way it looks amazing. I didn't realize Steven Zalian wrote it. Who, if you look at his pedigree, he wrote, think about any big movie he wrote in the past 20 years. Not any big movie, but he's legit. Where I don't think you can really, I don't think it can be bad. Because that's the thing is everybody's wondering. Everybody's wondering, will it bomb? Will it be terrible? Are these guys past their prime? Is this just a hacky thing to do to get people to watch?
Yeah.
Right.
And the bottom line is, when you put this much talent together, I don't know. It's at least going to be good, I think.
Well,
it's
and
good.
The source material is great. I heard you paint I heard you paint houses.
Yeah.
Is one of the greatest mafia books, crime organization, whatever you want to call it, pieces of literature that are out there in the genre. So based off that, and it's just got that lore about it. I love Hoffa lore. I love mafia. I love that time, and it's just feels like there's nobody better to do that than Scorsese with De Niro, Pacino, Pesci. These guys.
We need to win. We need to win for these guys.
Did you know Jim Norton plays Rickles?
Yes.
How great is that?
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't get cut, but like Ray Romano's in it. Sebastian Maniscalco plays Crazy Joe Gallo. It's just like
really.
I have so much already built up. I really hope it delivers.
Wow.
I think it will.
I think so too.
I think it'll be great. But let's be honest. Like, we need another epic thing from this time.
Yeah.
I love Goodfellas. I love Casino. I know you love Casino.
I love it.
So what I want is you want another what Scorsese for. Just one more of those.
Yeah.
Just one more of ooh, this is so freaking cool, and just iconic scenes that you'll be that you can quote with your or people who watch younger than us can quote with their friends.
Yeah, it's I love Gangs of New York, but this just feels right. Even from the trailer, just feels like Scorsese.
Absolutely.
I mean? Where you could have told me a different director was Gangs of New York, and I would have been like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where if you were like, oh yeah, Scorsese, I would yeah, okay, I can see it, but it's not necessarily a. All
right, so put it this way: Gangs of New York is Steven Zalian. He wrote that as well.
Yeah.
And it's written great.
Oh, yeah.
But I think having this time period is this is when he grew up. This is when Scorsese grew up. This is when he was
Absolutely.
This is when apparently Scorsese was so sickly as a kid, he would just be in his room, just his imagination and watching kids play, watching his neighborhood, and probably just becoming the creative genius that he is today. So. And this is the time period it was going on. The whole Goodfellas time period was that time period. So this would be perfect. This is perfect timing. A perfect time era for a movie for him to make.
Man, I was just stoked when I heard about the lineup, and I didn't know the trailer came out today. So
and what's the release date? I didn't even notice that.
September 27th.
Oh, that's not that far away.
No.
Yeah.
That'll be right into your house, Steven.
Oh, yeah.
Netflix, baby.
I think I might go see it on the big screen, though.
I will.
All right, we gotta go.
Yeah, we'll go.
Okay.
Oh, no. I will 100% go see it on the big screen.
I'm
just saying, if you want to see it on Netflix, you can do that.
Well, you know me, lately I've just, I wait till things come out at home and sit in the comfort of my couch, of course. But I went to the movie theater last night, and this segues perfectly, because one period piece maybe to another, Shawnee and I both saw we talk about it all the time, the very highly anticipated Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
We didn't talk to each other about it.
We didn't talk about it.
I don't know what you thought about it.
Well,
I don't know.
Do you want to do this way? Steven didn't see it. He doesn't care what we say about it. He's saying, should we go cold with what he's heard about it?
Sure.
And see if we agree or not?
Yeah.
What have you heard about? You've not seen it?
I have not seen it.
You know Tarantino pretty well.
I do.
Yes.
I like Tarantino.
Yeah, he's great.
I like him a lot.
He's amazing.
I won't see it. I'll wait for it to come out.
Okay.
Because I've heard too long, I've heard bad dialogue, and I've heard only the last half hour is exciting.
Yeah, they pretty much nailed it. Pretty much. Here's the thing, man. I struggle with this. And this is where I'm chomping at the bit. With the meats and potatoes, I'll be chomping as well. But with this, I struggle because Tarantino, the guy... If what everybody is saying is true about, well, not everybody is saying, but a couple of friends of ours, Joe List, Dan St. Germain. St. Germain said it was just plain bad. He goes, don't even go see it. And I'm like, I'm going to see it. I'm not going to not see it. I don't, And then I went and saw it. And I'm like, I don't want to just be the guy who comes out and says it's too long. Nothing happens. That seems like these critiques that. I'm like, wouldn't Tarantino know that? Literally in the movie, nothing happens for an hour and a half. It's very slow for an hour and a half.
A slow burn.
But if you're a Tarantino and you're a student of film and you are the guy who made Pulp Fiction, which is one of the most exciting things ever, or Reservoir Dogs, or even Jackie Brown is good. It's at least it's fun to watch, and it has that Tarantino-esque universe, language, vibe, whatever you want to call it, the je ne sais quoi of Tarantino.
What makes
Just the
Tarantino film a
unspoken
Tarantino
thing.
film?
What?
What makes a Tarantino film a Tarantino
Yeah,
film?
which I think of as like kind of like the cool crime, underworld crime
Yeah.
language, the monologues, the amazing back and forth, amazing dialogue back and forth, and just straight up monologue by one character to a bunch of others in the thing. These are all standbys. The campiness, the maybe the terms that are used, the shot, interesting shots, the gore, the violence, the bloodiness, like just being raw, but a raw movie that has a lot of character and a lot of point of view and a lot of like that's Tarantino. Like that's Tarantino. That's why when I saw Inglourious Bastards, I was so excited because Inglourious Bastards, you can tell it's Tarantino, but it's a upper echelon Tarantino. I think he made a better movie in Inglourious Bastards as far as like he switched it up. It's not straight up Pulp Fiction-y or Reservoir Dogs or whatever it is. So when it comes to this movie, and you're that guy, and if you're self-aware, how are you making this movie? That's my question.
Okay,
because
interesting.
I can't watch it and not go, yeah, everybody's right. It's the beginning. But so what I think it is like, I think it's this weird fantasy thing that he had.
So here's what I was, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
I'll chime in when you're done because I have an answer to what I think you're
You know what
going
it
to say.
got to me is at the end when basically for people who don't know is a spoiler coming
Spoiler
right
alert
now.
right now.
Spoiler.
Skip ahead about 10 minutes.
It's basically Tarantino's re-envisioned idea of what happened with the Sharon Tate murders. He injected these two characters, these cool Hollywood characters, into it. One's a washed-up action cowboy movie star. The other is his stunt double, who may or may not have killed his wife, but probably did. Right?
Whose
cool
movie
characters.
it is? It's Cliff's movie.
It's Cliff's movie. It is. Well, that's apparent, and that's fine. That's kind of a cool thing to switch the focus. I'm fine with that. That's like No Country for Old Men. You think the main character is Josh Brolin? It's not. It's Tommy Lee Jones.
Right.
That's what it's supposed to be. So it's kind of cool when they do that. Who the antagonist is or the protagonist, whatever. So when it comes to this movie, that's what it is. It's his re-envisioned fantasy about what he would wish would have happened. Because this is his thing.
Sure.
His newest thing is
it's
revenge
the same way
porn.
with Inglourious Bastards.
Inglourious Bastards.
It's the
They kill Hitler in the theater.
It's his revisionist history of
Django Unchained. They
yeah.
get the thing. So now his new genre, instead of doing just camp, it's camp revenge porn for a disenfranchised group, or for just a movie starlet that he loved when he was a kid or something.
Yeah, well,
I don't know what the point of it was.
So this is my take. It was definitely. Here's the thing. I don't mind the length of the movie, but the slowness, the pace got to me.
I don't mind the length either,
because you were just waiting. It's his love letter to what he thinks is the greatest period of his life, I think.
I think you're right.
And if
also
you watch,
Los Angeles. And
Los
the city.
Angeles. Here's what I loved about the movie. It had Tarantino's ability to make real life references, but also meld them into his universe. They're Musso and Franks. They've got the westerns and the actors that portrayed those kind of cowboys. At that time, all that felt perfect and right. It was just, okay, where are we going with this? It was just a lot of build-up before you got to the meats and the potatoes of the actual story.
Now,
you get a lot of background on Rick Dalton, and you get a lot of, not really background on his stuntman Cliff, but it's really, right away you kind of feel like it's Brad Pitt's movie, who plays the stuntman, and that's fine. There's great, his fantasy scene about him beating up Bruce Lee is amazing. That's when I was like, okay, here we go. We're starting to get it. But then it's
wait, what do you mean his fantasy scene?
Remember when he gets hired? When he fights Bruce Lee, and it just goes back to him on the roof? That was a fantasy that he had, that he actually got hired.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that never actually happened. Remember, because he goes back, it cuts back to him on the roof, and he went, yeah, probably, or something like that. It was just a made-up thing.
Oh, okay. I'm an idiot. I thought that was what happened on a previous job.
No.
See, I just didn't get that. All right, cool. Yeah. That's a great scene, by the way.
It's a really great scene. And so, it's... got me off track.
Oh, sorry.
Where I was going. But, either way, I guess I liked it. I walked out of there going... I liked it. And I don't know if that was because the last part of it is so great. And let's face it, it's awesome how it ends. The last couple scenes, the last half hour, 45 minutes are great. Because here's the thing,
it's because you're giving them release and you're being entertained. So it's almost like somebody's withholding something for you for 2 hours, and then they go, all right, now you can be entertained. You're like, and
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it was because of that.
Yeah.
But I also love...
It was cool, don't get me wrong.
I also love Charles Manson lore. I love, like, culture, and I love that kind of stuff. And, like, a lot of that stuff rang true. The George Spahn rant, like, that was all kind of true, too.
But they didn't... So, it's very peripheral, though.
It is.
That one scene when he goes to visit the ranch, best scene in the whole... One of the best scenes in the whole movie. I think was
starting even when he picks up the girl, Andy McDowell's kid. Did you know that? A lot of...
is that who that is?
A lot of children of actors in this movie.
Really?
Yeah, you had Dakota Fanning, which doesn't really count, but she was Squeaky Fromme.
Yeah.
Andy McDowell's kid played the hitchhiker. You had Kevin Smith's daughter in there. You had Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's kid. She played Linda Kasabian. So he put a lot
I didn't know
of up and coming young actors from famous actor parents in the movie.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I just think that what I think happened, if I had to guess, and I wouldn't put anything past Tarantino. I think that he knows what he's doing.
Oh, absolutely.
But it might, if it's self-congratulatory and masturbatory to make this thing the way that he made it. I'll tell you why. Because I think what he was trying to do was a crescendo to the tension, and the tension breaks when the murder scene finally happens.
It had a lot of
but what he did was
Hateful Eight in it.
What?
It was Hateful Eight without, but I don't think. I think Hateful Eight was written better.
I think it was written better as well. I think it really was. And on top of it, I think that you have the buildup of him getting to the point where, on top of it, the editing. Joe List brought up editing. He goes, "This is a great movie by a guy who doesn't know how to edit."
Well, his longtime editor
died. She died. It was Sally Menke, right?
Menke.
Right. So Hateful Eight, she wasn't alive for either, was she?
I don't know.
And it's too long. I don't think she was alive for that. And this editing is crucial.
Yeah.
Editing is as important as directing a movie.
Dude, Hateful Eight, the pace didn't bother me as much because it had the dialogue and it had the action within.
Not lame.
So it didn't build up to a release.
She could have found a much better 3-hour movie within the footage they probably took for this movie.
No, that's what I mean. I'm talking about Hateful Eight. I'm saying Hateful Eight had those moments where you're like, it more satisfactory moments along the way, rather than just one big build-up.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that in this movie, who knows what the original editor could have done.
I agree.
Because it's almost like you're just following them for their day.
I didn't
There's
need
30-second shots of them driving down the 101 in L.A. So I'm like, oh, this is just like you lived in L.A. for 30 years at this point. This is just your love of this time period, like you said.
Yeah, minute shot of him feeding his dog. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I didn't need to see Sharon Tate going to see herself at the movies. I don't understand what the point of that was. Like, it was just her going to see
therein lies
herself.
It's the fantasy. It's the once upon a time part of this thing.
Yeah.
That's crucial to what this movie is. So the whole idea, because even if you listen to the music that's playing behind them when they're going to do these things, it's all very storybook and
he actually
very
really
dreamlike. It's very dreamlike.
A lot of pop music from that, and which is another cool thing. Which is why I say it was a love letter to the stuff he likes. You had the DJs, you had the music of the time. You had the restaurants, you had the neon signs, you had everything that Hollywood Hills and Sunset Boulevard and all that stuff was.
Yeah.
It was really his love letter to all that stuff. And he made it was almost like he concentrated too much on that and got away from the story.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. But by the end, I don't know. I got to watch it again because, as it tends to happen with me and Tarantino, I'll miss things. I'll go back and I'll find little things I love. A lot of times this happens with me and the Coen brothers sometimes, where I'll go back and on the repeat viewings, I'll find little things that I just go, I didn't see that the first time around, and I can't believe I missed that, and I loved it. Like, you didn't even realize it was, like a fantasy thing.
Yeah.
It's like little
I said the same thing where I was like, I want to rewatch it.
I'll probably, I don't know if I'll go back to the theater again. But I do remember looking at my watch and going, okay, I see where we're at.
See, I never did that, but when I was sitting there, I was waiting for something to happen. And the first thing I remember being like, "Oh, that was entertaining." Was the Bruce Lee fantasy scene, which was cool. But it was also like, you didn't even need that, but yeah, that was cool. Whatever. But let's, you liked it probably better than I did.
I think maybe it sounds like a little more.
All right, let's get on to the meat and potatoes part of the podcast. This is also another biggie, and why we have our friend Steve here. Huge fan. Huge fan.
Big fan.
I'm a huge fan of Steve, as well as Steve's a huge fan of what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
It's a big matchup. Andy, you want to tell everybody what the matchup is?
Sure, one we've talked about for a long time on this podcast. It is two movies within the same franchise. The first movie of the Indiana Jones franchise, Raiders of the Lost Ark, versus what we all thought should have been the final movie of the franchise, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Now, me and Sean both go down in history as huge Crusade guys, and Steven, you are even a Crusade guy too, but you said, for the good of the podcast, I'll defend Raiders and tell you why that's a great movie as well.
What a trooper this kid is, huh?
So that is the matchup and the meats and potatoes for the day. Raiders versus Crusade.
And can you give me a little bit of background on why you're such a huge fan of for the regular reasons, or do you have something from your past that kind of tunes you in with these movies?
I would say it's the first movies I fell in love with, like obsessed as a kid, like wanted to be him. My dad introduced me to the movies and made me watch them in order.
Oh, he did?
He wouldn't let me watch them out of order.
So he had those the first three.
First three.
Temple of Doom in the middle.
I saw the fourth in theaters like first day. Out of my mind excited.
Yeah.
That's how diehard I was at that point.
Well, as a side conversation, what is your opinion on Crystal Skull? Because me and Andy were talking about yesterday, it's not as bad as people say.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
There's just a couple of things in there that's like, this makes it silly.
It's also, the Temple of Doom sucks too, but it's because you're matched up against two other great movies.
I'll agree with
it's
that.
hard to
sure.
compare. I don't know why Temple of Doom always gets a pass from everybody. It's not a great Indiana Jones movie.
It's probably the most racist one.
Oh, for sure. But I love
Short Round.
That's the Monkey Brains one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Temple
Short
of
Round, and it's just...
Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, I didn't think of Short Round.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Indy.
I love...
That's Data, right? Is that Data from Goonies? Yeah.
I love the beginning with Lao She, where he shows up and he has the diamond.
Yeah.
And like hiding behind the gong when it's being shot with the machine gun. Like that first scene of Temple of Doom is awesome for me.
It just gets crazy. It kind of gets out of hand with the slave children and everything.
Yes.
And,
right.
It's sandwiched between two great movies.
I totally agree.
And
so you saw Raiders the first, obviously, and then you saw Temple of Doom, and then you saw Last Crusade.
Yes.
And then you decided after that, you're like, I'm a Last Crusade guy.
Die-hard Crusade guy.
Yeah. For my thing is this. It's funny, they team him up with somebody each movie. So you had him and Data, or him and Round, what is it, Short Round?
Short Round.
Which even sounds racist, but I guess it's not. It's not. Is it racist? I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? But I'm just saying. It's funny.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It takes place in the 50s. I mean,
yeah, good point.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It takes place in the 40s. The 50s is
36.
Crystal Skull. 36.
First one's 36.
All right.
Well, sure. Okay, so then the next one, Temple of Doom.
I don't know.
40s.
Yeah, maybe, because you definitely got the...
and you had Last Crusade, late 40s, and then you had 50s.
Is it post-World War II?
Well, no, not Last Crusade, because you had Hitler right at his peak.
Yeah, I guess so. You're right. So it's right in the middle. That's
what I mean. As far as like the silliness, you can kind of base. I think you can base the
slime of humanity.
Oh man,
you can base how good one of them is by like the silly scenes in it. And Crystal Skull. Not that we're going to talk about that too much, but they have that monkey scene where like Shia LaBeouf is like swinging with the monkeys, and like chasing after the Nazis, and the monkeys are helping him. But like they don't attack him, but when they get to the Nazis, they attack the Nazis, the monkeys.
They're Russians.
Yeah.
Well, the Russians. I'm sorry, the Russians.
The Nazis.
Not the Nazis. The Russians.
Yeah.
They attack the Russians.
Yeah.
But why? That's my point.
I thought when I first saw it, he was going to be afraid of monkeys like his dad's afraid of snakes because his grandpa's afraid of rats.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, that's his thing. He's going to be afraid of monkeys. But then he teams up with the monkeys.
Yeah, and he's not afraid of anything.
Not afraid of it.
There should have been. He should have been afraid of something.
Okay, so that's a great jumping off point for why Last Crusade is the best movie of the franchise. You first start with a young, well, not a young, I guess he was always kind of young. River Phoenix plays a young Indy. You get to see a young Indy for the first time.
That's a cool sequence.
And that's a cool... You
find out where he gets the hat.
And you find out the origin of the hat, and then it does a beautiful jump cut to I forget whatever the cross is. I can't think of the.
Which
this
one is
belongs
it?
in a museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you.
Oh, and they're on the ship.
Yeah.
Like Cordoba or something
yes,
like that.
yes,
yeah.
Him raising his head and smiling with the blood coming
It's
from.
so great.
Oh, I love that scene.
Well, so
much.
and that goes a lot of people's first introduction to Indiana Jones, obviously in Raiders, is the very famous the weighted scene where he's got the bag of sand.
Yes.
And he's trying to get the idol.
Well, that's
off.
yeah.
And then you've got that whole, and it's a young, Steven, give me the actor.
Harrison?
No, not Harrison
Wait.
Ford. The his like guide who.
Dr. Octopus.
Yeah. It's
Alfred Molina?
Alfred
Yes.
Molina. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a young Alfred Molina.
Oh, that's so fun. I didn't realize that.
Yes. It's so great. He's an Englishman and he plays this Spanish guy. To hear him say senor is just so funny to me.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
so, yeah. I think his introduction in that where you got the guy pulling the gun on his back and he turns around and you get the great shot with the whip.
You introduced the whip.
And then you got the smoke behind him as he walks from out of the shade and you see, here's Indiana Jones. Like, that's a great introduction.
That's a great
And
introduction.
then the players start the plane. I mean, I'm not going to deny I love Raiders too, but I love Crusade more.
I'll give you my reasoning. It's like one of those
I
things
think
where
Crusade's opening is a better one. You find out the origin of the whip in the Crusade with the lion.
yeah.
Right, but there's the easy argument of none of that's cool unless you've seen. That's
Fair enough.
I'm going to say
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
I'm
Fair
admitting
enough.
that's an easy argument for me to make. Anyone to
Okay.
make.
All right.
That's a good point.
That none of that's cool.
You
if
won't
you
care
don't
about it
find-
unless you already know, because in action
Yes.
you've seen this guy.
Like, you don't think him getting the scar from the whip on his chin is cool unless you know
Yeah,
Indy's
yeah,
got
yeah.
that scar on his chin.
Right, exactly.
But that's an easy. I won't even take that as a win.
I will say this.
So easy to make.
Steven is so excited. I can tell by his
I
body language.
love these
when he's
movies.
talking about the movies, he's so excited.
I
Yeah.
love
They're
them
great, man.
so
They're
much.
great.
I was like, if you want to go overall, that's the reason why I say Last Crusade is because by the time they got there, they were making them better. Like, because you can put that as like, if you put the first Star Wars and people say Empire
8-year
Strikes Back,
difference, I believe, 81 and 89.
yeah,
Okay.
big difference. But also like, think about it this way too. Last Crusade, people don't mention this. Like, it's a sequel. Sequels are supposed to be worse, and
True.
And people will admit that Last Crusade is as good or better than
That's always
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I've come close to fistfights with my friends over this movie.
I'll say this: the formula they went back to Crusade just went and made took Raiders formula because it's an expert that went in over his head with the Nazis. But and Crusade, it's just this time it's closer personal wise because it's his father.
Yeah.
But Raiders, it was Ravenwood. He was this huge expert on the Ark, and then the Nazis take, they need the staff of Rawhead. So, and also I would say that they teach you the history of the artifact better in Raiders. It's not as boring as it is in Crusade.
Yeah, because
I don't know about that.
In Crusade, there's parts of it that remind me of National Treasure, which I think was what National Treasure was going for.
Yeah,
I think they were just trying to make
yes.
That's
These
right.
movies definitely influence
I see. I think the
archaeology.
I think the Covenant goal is better. I think the Holy Grail is better than the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh, I agree.
Oh, same
with
here. I think it's a better
treasure-wise.
story.
Treasure-wise, yes, but like I always remember being bored during the Crusade part where they're talking about the history more than I was when they talked about the Ark, because you have the idiot FBI agents who are antsy, and then I just didn't like the villain as much as the one in Crusade, talking with Indy. It didn't get interesting to me until the father's brought up.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my...
Well, yeah. I guess
You thought Raiders was interesting right away.
Well, you can't... The first scene, you're like, this guy's great.
Yeah.
I would also argue
the
that
music kicks in.
the booby traps are better in Raiders, I think.
I give you that. I'll absolutely give you that. There's really not that many booby traps in Crusade.
No, but it's like these
There's a
weird
few
puzzles that he has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they're like, but it's such cool. It's so cool. You know what it is also? I think that the Hitler scene to me, I remember thinking as being
one of my favorites.
It's one of the best things ever.
I think Crusade has the more adult humor for it. Like, it's just got that, like, he takes the Grail diary, but he actually signs it.
As far as the turn goes, like, when you first saw that, like, you can't think of it now because you've seen it so many times. But remember when you first saw that, I don't think you thought of the humor. I think the humor was added. I think the turn worked. I think it was like, shit!
Another great simple joke is just the him bashing, trying to find the tomb of St. Peter, and just bashing in the library, and the old Italian librarian, just stamping it, and it's just
stamp.
Looks at the stamp when he does it again.
Well, also, when the Nazi gets on the Hindenburg, and he goes, and he throws them off, he goes, no ticket. They all bring out their tickets.
Oh, yeah.
It's a funnier movie.
And then Marcus Brody.
Brody's
fantastic.
who he's got in both movies.
But obvious argument, Brody kills it in Crusade. And the only thing I saw that Brody does that's funny in Raiders, and you have to really pay attention, is a student puts an apple on Indy's desk after the class is over, and Brody steals it. That's it.
No, Brody's got a lot of it's a lot of great Brody, and
the Brody stuff is very cartoonish because the Brody stuff is like when the guy with the fez, what's his name? Who's supposed to be watching out for Brody?
Sala.
And he puts him on the truck, and then that's the Nazi truck in the driveway. That's like out of a Warner Brothers cartoon. If you really think about it.
And speaking of which, it's kind of a similar scene, which I will give Raiders points for on this one, is when you have the swordsman that comes out and just does all the show, and then Indy just shoots him.
That might be the best.
You know that was improv.
Yep, I heard. You know why? He was sick. Yeah,
he was sick, and I'm like. And you think about it, that's who Indy is. He's not this guy that's going to fight a guy with a sword for a half hour.
Yeah.
He's a guy that's like, I'm going to find the easiest way out of this fight.
Absolutely. That's one of those things that just worked out perfectly.
It's
like
so
the Jaws shark being mechanically defunct. It's like, oh my God, this works so much better.
Yeah.
Like that, you know what? That scene that's Raiders, right?
Yes.
Yes. That might be the best scene. As far as the comic relief goes, in the thing, like I think we can get it down to categories when it comes to these movies. I think as far as the comic relief goes, that's the hands down the funniest thing in Raiders versus Last Crusade. No, what I'm saying is as far as in an Indy movie, that's the funniest thing. That I think when you put that and the Hitler thing up against each other.
Well, that's the scene for sure that it beats Hitler for me. But that's the scene where you're like, oh. Indiana is just a real guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's the realest thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they even nod to it in Temple of Doom when there's two guys with swords that come at him, and he smiles and reaches for his gun, but he lost it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they're like, that's such an influential scene.
Yeah. It's also a thing where it's like, a lot of movies would have just had him do the same thing.
Yes.
But they were like, no, let's get him even more fucked.
All right. Third one, on the tank, there's 3 Nazis in a row, and he shoots through all 3 of them, and he's like shocked.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like, it is similar to how great that scene was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go better. There's always a female side character, Dr. Schneider or Marion Ravenwood.
Oh, Marion Ravenwood.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Karen Allen.
Karen Allen.
You can't beat Karen Allen.
I don't even know Dr. Schneider's real name.
No.
Yeah, but also Karen Allen didn't turn on him. Dr. Schneider turned on him.
Okay.
Right.
But then she doesn't. At the end, does she come back? At the end,
she tries to. She goes, we could have it all, Indy.
Yes.
She gets greedy for the grill.
But Ravenwood, she's like love of his life.
I could do Sean Connery all day.
But also, she's
a Nazi.
She's a Nazi.
She talks
Marion also fends for herself. She's like one of the first female characters I remember in an action movie where you get the drinking contest.
Yep.
She steals the knife in the second drinking contest. She gets kidnapped, but she goes she's clawing away. She's fighting the entire movie.
Yeah, you're right.
She's not weak at all.
It's the first girl power character in a movie from the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Girl power. But no, you're right. That's the thing. You'd think they don't have strong... Because you would say...
Okay, so would you rather...
So the first one passes the Bechdel test.
So maybe not Dr. Schneider. So I guess maybe Sean Connery's character, is more of a character that you would compare to Marion.
Yes, I would. But I'll tell you this much. I like the Sean Connery, even though you're right about her strength as a character, I think Sean Connery is a better turn on the sidekick character than just like, it's me and this gal, and we're traveling through, and we're going to kiss, we're not going to kiss. I think it's funnier to have his dad, as a senior citizen, nagging him the whole time.
Totally, but it also provides for those emotional moments, because in the end, it's just a dad who is kind of absent, and it's Indy really just wanting to prove...
Yeah. That motorcycle scene.
Yeah, which is a cooler...
That's such a great look.
He's checking his watch. His son just killed
and Indy gives him that great look, like, aren't you proud of me, Dad?
Yes. Yeah. And he looks over this and is like,
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. It's more original. Having Connery in it and having that be the guy he's trying to please and win over is more original. Because even though you back then, you're in the early days of the blockbuster, the whole idea of the romantic interest being the sidekick in something, like, even if you had... I don't know what you would compare it to. Not like Die Hard, because Die Hard, his wife's there and he saves her, but she's not like with him the whole trip. But there's other movies that have that. But with Connery, it's so...
I've lost him. Thanks. Another emotional scene.
Yes.
Yeah, and it works great. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's not just comedy.
Just a minute or two. He was like, just a couple of minutes would have been fine.
Yeah,
with
I
my
had so
son.
much more to say.
Yeah.
And that's my argument on what. I know I'm going against what I said I was going to do, but that's my argument for Crusade is like for these movies where there's a female, there's a love interest. Die Hard's a good example. They don't end up together. You could easily break up with your love interest, but that's your dad. You can't
break up with your dad.
You can't break up with your dad.
Yeah.
Well, we all know Tired of the Vengeance is a better picture anyway.
We did it already on the show.
Oh, God.
And it's categorically false that you just said that. Anyway, no, but you're right, though. There is a thing of, like, it's almost like you think of it that way as far as Die Hard goes, like... it's like the unlikely duo. Die Hard with a Vengeance. That's why it works so well. You had Samuel L. Jackson and you had Bruce Willis. Like whenever it's like that, that's why Midnight Run's a great buddy movie because they're
Midnight Run.
I love it. Hey, come on, you love that movie. Who doesn't love that movie?
I don't love it. Like
I'm obsessed.
Really
I love it. I love it.
But it's a fine
this is my
picture.
Midnight Run. What we're talking about. These two movies are my Midnight Run. Even if we weren't
Last
talking
Crusade
about
is my
Indiana
Last
Jones
Crusade.
movies, I would bring them up.
Do you know Midnight Run?
No.
Oh, it's great.
Oh.
It's the best buddy movie there is. It's the most non-cheesy buddy movie there. People like Bad Boys, all this shit, 48 Hours, all that. No. Midnight Run is hands down the coolest buddy movie there is, and funniest.
All right. Well, off.
I gotta
track.
make.
I was off track, but I had to defend myself
for Raiders. Otherwise, I'm not doing it.
Let me ask you this, Stephen. I'm sure, as big a fan of the franchise as you are, you've heard the argument that the Raiders of the Lost Ark would have turned out that way, even without Indiana Jones being in the movie. Have you ever heard that before?
No.
Like if
Indiana, no, it was going to be Tom Selleck.
It was
no. I'm talking about in the actual lore.
But that would have been as good. That's what I'm saying.
No. I think you're missing the movie.
Oh,
the point of I know it's not. Remove Indiana Jones the character from the story. The Nazis eventually would have found the Ark of the Covenant. They eventually would have gotten killed. I probably didn't explain it right.
I see what you're saying.
Like
he's
Indiana
not
Jones's effect on the movie would have remove him, you would have gotten to the same point. The Nazis were already on the track to find the what do you call it?
The Staff of Ra.
The Staff of Ra, and they eventually would have gotten to Marion. They were on the track anyway. Indy, they just would have killed her if not for Indy. We can say that. Yeah. But they would have found it anyway. They would have found the eventual Ark of the Covenant. They would have all died, and without Indiana Jones, it doesn't really make a difference.
There's one thing that almost hurts Indy even more is they don't find the real location if it weren't for Indy. Because the guy gets the burn on his hand of only one side.
Correct, and they find a smaller staff. Yeah.
Yes. So Indy helps them get to the ending point.
Yeah. Thanks, Indy.
Yeah. Well, Indy inadvertently kills them all without trying by getting them there.
But that would have happened anyway.
Yeah. By them going, you mean Last Crusade?
Indy
they went through
has
the
actual headpiece, so he knows, they're digging in the wrong place, which is one of my favorite lines from the movie. And he finds the right location. They see him digging somewhere else. And then that's when Belloc, who I think is a better villain, I'll argue, than Walter or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And that's when they see Indy, and they leave him in the snakes pit with Marion.
Oh, right. Okay.
So that's how they find the right location.
So that he helped them.
By the way.
He helped them on that one.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Yeah.
He helped them, and like he got them to find it faster.
Yeah.
But what he's saying is, even if they would have kept going, they would have found it.
Died.
Right.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't have found it though.
Yeah, they would have.
But he said they were digging in the wrong spot.
Yeah, they didn't have the headpiece. That's the only thing.
But I think they would have eventually gotten it from...
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
This is so insane.
If I'm doing the right in my
basically,
head...
the whole point of the movie is like, oh, he saved Marion's life.
Correct.
Yes.
But it's not
That's
the
it.
Nazi thing.
Correct.
You wonder if they're aware of that when they were when
I
they
don't
were writing
think so.
They don't think they were.
I don't think they were.
You feel
I
like-
think that's just something you look back and you go... All right, glaring plot hole that
Yeah,
if
we're
you don't
like,
suspend
it's
your
gonna be
belief,
solved by a
if
cell
you actually
phone.
take this
Yeah.
literally, you could you could have not had Indiana Jones be a
my
factor in the movie whatsoever.
Now let's do this. Last Crusade. What would happen? Because the thing is this: like he goes through they go through all the stuff. What if it was just left alone? Like would anybody have
They
found it?
wouldn't know because
They needed him.
they needed the Grail Diary.
Right,
Yes.
which his dad had.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you don't need Indy at all.
He didn't need it all.
Wow. Yeah, you don't.
So he kind of just butts into these things.
You do.
I think it's just like, well, for...
Well, actually,
well, his
yeah.
thing was he wanted to go rescue his dad. That
Exactly.
was the point.
So it's both are kind of rescue movies.
Yes.
Because Walter Donovan's clever and he knows that I've kidnapped the father, but he doesn't have the Grail Diary, which we need to find the Grail. The one guy who can get us that and come and do this is Indiana Jones.
Right.
He's got him
Right.
save his father and probably...
And then Crusade Raiders, it's his lust for this represents they say it. This represents every reason we got into archaeology in the first place. It's his lust of finding the Ark, and also an expert that's in over his head. The Abner Ravenwood's missing, and they know he has the head of the staff of Ra.
Yeah.
So both movies, it's an expert that's in over their head with the Nazis.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's somebody who traded their morals to have.
Because I think in both, he's like, well, I'm not an expert. The person that's missing is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. So I don't know, but you're right. So is Indy a big hero? Or is he just kind of a guy?
I don't think he means to be a hero, but that's what makes him great. You know what I mean?
Fighting all these big villains.
He
but
is
he's
an
just
archaeologist. He's
Yeah.
just, he's a great action hero, but he's not like he's a personal hero for the people in his lives. But it's like,
And both movies show he's a hot teacher.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah. Last Crusade. It's so obvious. These girls in this class are just full on.
Well,
their tongues are out.
Raiders, the girl takes the time to write "I love
Yeah,
you"
I
on
always
her
love that.
Oh,
eyelids.
that's right. What a weird scene.
Oh, I loved it.
he's a heartthrob, man.
Oh yeah! If you watch it, they pan across the class. All the guys are just sitting there, but it's mainly girls, and they're all doing the head on the
lovey-dovey
hand.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who? How he started? He was like a carpenter on the movie set.
Yes.
And that's how he started acting.
Yeah.
Somebody just noticed him, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't American Graffiti, though, was it? What was it?
I thought that was his big breakout.
He was a
That's his big breakout role. But was he working on that set before he was in that movie?
Oh, I don't know.
little known cameo in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, he plays one of the generals.
All right, it's not a competition.
Who tells him? Who tells him what the mission is?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh man.
They want to talk about a great movie. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's a
well,
we're talking about a slow movie.
Right, slow build.
That's actually good.
Oh, you're not being fair.
It's brutal, dude.
All right,
I was very emotional watching that Tarantino. Very emotional.
I think the greatness of both these two movies is why we can't really come to a conclusion. And Steve, you're big. I mean, I don't know what it is about Last Crusade that just resonates with me more. I love the father-son stuff.
Yes.
I love the Grail history and like the power of the Grail, and the riddles and just the faith and like all that stuff. I love, and two great scenes too. You could one Nazi face melting versus Nazi aging.
Yeah, exactly.
I think like the face melting's become a gift that everyone uses.
Yeah,
like, that's
and
a
you
go-to gift
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Right,
You see it
yeah.
all the time online.
Oh yeah.
It is a little hokey because of the
This
technology.
is me
at the
after
time,
2006-17 election. As the election results are coming in.
Yeah. I'll sorry.
No, go ahead. You're the
I'll
guest.
argue best Paramount Mountain transition is in Raiders.
What's the transition? They have they show the mountains.
Yeah, in each one they do the mountain.
Wow, this kid's seen these movies tons of times.
If you look, all 4 movies, they take the mountain from the Paramount Studios, and then that's the first shot of every movie.
I did not.
Is a mountain.
Wow.
I gotcha.
So the first one in Raiders, it's in the jungle, and that's when it pans down to them where he loses each member of his guide group, and then Crusade, it's just a canyon.
Yes.
Wow, you know these movies.
I'm obsessed with these movies.
So let me ask you this. This is more interesting than, because here's the thing. Those two are the two best ones. I think you're right. I don't think nothing you said's made me budge, but you're also not really fighting for it 100%. You're a Crusade guy more.
It sucks because I
want to. It happens to us all the time where we're forced to fight against a movie that we love, but you just love the opponent a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
I love my opponent more, but I will say Crusade couldn't have been what it was. Forget that there are sequels of
there's a shorthand to it.
He's already that Raiders.
But there's the fact that Crusade is Raiders, just they added more to it.
I agree. Maybe that's what it is for me too.
It's all the fun of
better movie.
Amazingness of Raiders, but they're like, it's almost like if they were like, hey, what if we did Raiders again? What would we change?
Correct.
And
I
that's,
agree with that.
I can
and
see
they
that.
fixed.
Yeah,
it's just a fixing of
Raiders.
Raiders.
The Nazis again, like you said, it's the
Nazis again. And I like, they don't. Maybe we don't need a love interest. Maybe we can change that instead of this damsel thing.
But I'm a huge fan of that.
Yeah,
huge fan. Now let me ask you this, because you're such a huge fan of the movies.
Yes.
If they came out with another one, which they think they might be doing,
I've heard they might.
I've heard rumors.
What, as a huge fan, what do you think it should be? Time period is obviously going to be 70s,
which sucks.
Because
the Nazis are just a classic bad guy. Like
the Russians in 2019, we got Nazis again, right?
Yeah. Maybe that's it.
Time traveling Indy.
Indy's traveling out of Charlottesville.
He's also 112 and 15 years old.
I've never thought about Artifact, but here's one thing I've desperately wanted. I wanted it in the 4th, is I wanted him to have to deal with a giant snake.
Oh, like a big snake, not just a bunch of little ones.
A giant snake.
Like an anaconda situation.
I'm talking like Harry Potter level.
Oh, like a mystical...
if you have the magic of artifacts and what they can do, like a giant snake guarding something.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because his biggest fear...
He hates them.
He's terrified of them. I want to see him face his fear tenfold.
All right. That's good.
That'd be good. That'd be a good way to almost like end the franchise.
Yeah.
That's the big battle. He takes care of the humans first, and there's like, he's walking home, there's a huge snake on the
I always wanted to see him fight a huge snake.
I think that'd be great. Because they haven't really done that. That's just kind of like an added thing that he's afraid of snakes. But it's such a famous thing because he's so great and charismatic saying it that people like, he hates snakes. Like, you remember it from
Favorite line, Steven?
Oh, man.
Too many for you?
I went through Raiders for my favorite line, and I would say it's probably in the beginning when they're in the booby trap room with the idol, and his guide says, "There's nothing here to fear," and he goes, "That's what scares me."
Oh,
that's a good line.
It's a great line.
Yeah, it's very hard to pick. I love No Ticket's great. The comic relief moment I do love. She talks in her sleep, and then Harrison Ford's look of like, oh, we both fucked her.
Eskimo brothers with my dad.
Yeah, that's great. There's so much good. Oh no, a great line. All I have to do is scream. All I have to do is scream.
Yes,
that's
a
great one. That's a good one.
If goose stepping morons like you would do reading books instead of burning them.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the other weird part is this, like, she's so much more badass when you first meet her with him, like when they're getting the information from him and then they leave him there to die, him and his dad. and then when everybody's burning the book, she's crying.
Well, because she does I think she did fall in love with him, but she's also
a doctor.
Her
right?
interest is in the Grail, not the Nazi Party. She was just trying to get to the Grail, whatever's going to get her to the Grail.
Oh yeah,
and I think she's still hurt that she had to betray him, like she did fall.
Yeah.
Oh, it really is like National Treasure because there's like blonde expert in that. Whoa, it really is.
It influenced the Uncharted games.
Tons.
Because like there's references to the movies in the games.
Oh, really?
It influenced Pitfall. The game Pitfall.
I don't know. Oh my god, that's so funny.
All right, flip test. If you had to, we have a flip test here. If it's on, are you stuck watching? Like, if you can't you can't turn it off. Crusade, I have to keep on. Did you just fall asleep?
No,
You fucking.
I did not. I
What the hell was that?
You don't understand. It has nothing to do with.
We just looked. Your head dipped.
I have sleep apnea. That has nothing to do with
I
staying awake.
don't get enough sleep.
For me, I'll turn off Raiders, but I have a hard time flipping away from Crusade.
I would same.
You'll turn off. You won't turn off Raiders. You will.
I will. Crusade passes. Crusade. I'm
the flip
stuck.
test is flip back. So you're going by. Ba-ba-da-ba-doo.
Yeah,
and then
I go. Oh, Crusade.
You go back to both.
But if I
say Crusade, I go back. Raiders, I don't.
Oh, I've always thought of the flip test as now I'm just stuck watching this movie.
Well, because it could be either way. But what I'm saying is, it's like what trumps what.
All right, Sleepy.
Raiders has got to be like certain key parts. If that's on when I turn it to it, I'm like, okay, I'll keep it on. But Crusade, any part,
exactly.
I keep it on.
Totally.
Really?
Yeah.
Like if Raiders goes to a
certain
commercial and I find something else on, I'll stay away. I'll always go back to Crusade.
The only sucky part of Crusade is the wolf.
If he's Scottish and I'm Mickey Mouse. I just remember that one. If he's a Scottish lord, then I'm Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
That was like, it's so funny. Like Sean Connery must be like 112 at this point. Like he's
I know my
pretty
favorite
old.
line of Crusade is when they say, "Oh, if Brody's got the map, we'll find him." The hell you will. He knows every language. He's got a 3-8. Does anyone here speak English?
No, thank you. I'm a vegetarian. Does anybody understand a word? I'm like, yeah, Denholm Elliott. He was great, man.
Yeah,
that is a great part of the cover. He's great.
Man.
He was in Trading Places too. Remember?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And Arthur.
He's in a lot of great movies.
Yeah.
He died not too long after. He died in like 92
of AIDS.
All right.
I'm just saying it's true.
This wasn't sleep apnea.
Dude, it really is. I have a bad sleep apnea.
I don't doubt that at all.
And I've been like, when I get comfortable, I just start passing out. It wasn't you guys. It was like I'm like we're having.
Yeah,
I
thought we were bringing it.
We were.
It's a rainy day.
It's a rainy day. It's relaxing in here. It's my friends.
Combined with the apnea.
Yeah, I full on lately. I have to go to the doctor.
I probably have it too.
Well, yeah, if I didn't pass my flip test. If it's you guys talking, I'll flip right back.
Steve, thanks so much.
Whenever,
no problem, man. It's one of those where we both put the question out there online. It was like everybody's just so torn. You have so many people going, it's not even a fucking question for both. You go, yeah, Crusade is a far better film. No, fuck you, Raiders. It's just so many people are torn on this. Which is why
I put it out, when we put it online, I put it with the Defend Your Movie.
It was
account,
literally 50-50.
and people were incensed that I asked the question.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you get both answers.
Ways, right?
Like, Sean, I'm disappointed and you should know better. It's this. And then the next person, what are you, in your mind? It's this. Like, it's just nonstop. But for me, I always, Last Crusade always, maybe also because I saw Last Crusade in the theaters. I didn't see Raiders in the theaters. Yeah,
I mean, I was 10 when Crusade happened, so that was probably my first introduction, and then I went back and watched the movies. Yeah, I don't really remember. I can't. You know what? That time might not be right, because I remember my dad and I loving I remember watching Table of Doom.
Was it 90?
89.
89.
I had no outside influence. I watched them in order in my house. Like my dad,
under lock and key.
Yeah, my dad never told me which one he liked more until after we watched them all, and he was a Crusade guy too.
Oh,
yeah, my dad, I think, loves Crusade.
I think, like you said, I think you were like, it's like they were given license to redo Raiders, and they were like, this is how we should do it. And it's more interesting. It's also, it goes like we just said, like, it's a more interesting version of the same movie.
I think Also, can you imagine having to go through all that chaos with your father? You know what I
Right,
mean?
exactly.
Like, that's something we can all... I mean, it's like...
I'm talking about baggage on a trip. With,
Yes.
with, you know, like he's beating up Nazis and his dad's just like fitzing around. The best is when he sees Dead Home Elliott. What's his name in the movie again?
Marcus Brody.
Yeah, Marcus Brody, and he's like, Marcus, what are you doing here? And he does that like that like hand, not the handshake thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Manifest resuscitation.
Yeah,
I don't know
they
what
take
he
the
said.
time during the battle and do their handshake.
She's my Nazis.
I suddenly remembered my Charlemagne.
Yes.
May the birds in the sky. And
So I think we're all,
funnier, too.
we didn't convince ourselves to like.
I think we're all
better.
just Crusade guys.
But you know what it is?
tried.
You seem like you're messing up when you do it because the other one's the first one.
Yeah, I know.
Say that normally you'd be like, "What are you crazy?" Almost like with Die Hard and Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah.
Like, but that really to me the first one kills it for me.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. But I think in this one, it's crazy that not even a second, a third one never is the best one out of the world, out of the universe of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing it. What do you want to plug there, buddy boy?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at not Steve Rogers and StephenRogersComedy.com. And I got a podcast called Panic Attacking that comes out every Monday.
This will come out Friday. Are you anywhere this weekend?
I'm at the Helium in Buffalo.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Andrew Fiore.
I'll be at the Cellar all weekend, and you can find my tour dates at andyfiore.com. You can listen to my radio show on SiriusXM, The Raw Report, every Thursday at 4 p.m. We go live, Raw Dog 99. And, I got some road dates coming up in Jersey and New York next weekend. So hit me up, Andy Fiore on all social.
I am at Shawnee Time on Instagram and Twitter. I'm SeanDonnellyComedy.com. And I will be this weekend. I'll be at New York Comedy Club and the Comedy Cellar, and the following week I'll be at in Wilkes-Barre. I'll be at the Mohegan Sun Wisecrackers, which is a really fun club. And if you're in the area, I'll mention it again. Come on out if you're in the area. Thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you next week.
As always, please rate and subscribe and hit us up at Defend Your Movie on Twitter. We're very interactive with it, and you guys are great at voicing your opinions. Please, we love to see all that stuff. So let us know what your thoughts on the Raiders Crusade battle was. And until next time, bye, Defenders. We'll see you next week.
Bye, Defenders.